Hi everyone. Hi everyone. So this is going to be the first book that I review in this session that I call the books I've loved. I don't know. This is sometimes I'm even afraid to call it a book. It's very small. I believe you can call it a booklet. Used I used less than an hour, like a few minutes to read it because I was traveling, and I said, "Oh, why don't I read it?" The first book, a small one, because I just wanted to have a feeling of accomplishing something as far as books reading is concerned. So I said, okay, I'm going to read this. And that it's going to be the first book that I'm going to review as just to kickstart my sessions because I said a month ago that I would start reading books and reviewing books, but I've always been busy. And then I'm trying to find a way not to find excuses. And then here we go. This is the first book. So in this session, I'll just be saying the things I've learned, things I've loved, and the things which in one or another I think they could be done better. So there'll be likes and kind of dislikes. I don't know if should I call them dislikes or not, because first of all, I appreciate people who write books, right? I don't like to be a critic. I've ever written books myself, so I know how the process was. Even though some books might happen not to be really good, maybe to people, but I value the efforts and I know how hard it is. I'm telling you, even those books that you think they're not good, people have used so much strength and efforts to write them. So, and yet at the same time, not so many people have written books. Even those people who are criticizing books, most of them have not written books. Or if they have written books, they have not written the best books. You understand? But this is the reason as to why I'm trying to not be critic when it comes to books because I know that people put a lot of efforts, and I know that every book has got something, regardless of how you might feel it is. You understand? So Chochote kinaweza kuwa kama dhahabu. That's the title of the book. It's Swahili. I'm trying to translate it in English because I know most of people who hear me can understand English, and maybe there's some people who do not know Swahili. So I'm going to translate it, and that's the language that I'll be using. Of course, I'm looking forward to be using Swahili for some of the books, but for this one, let me use English for today. So the title of the book is Chochote kinaweza kuwa kama dhahabu, which translates in English as anything can be turned into a gold. And there are some words down here. I'm reading them for you, no worries. Written, you may adapt anything into being like a gold or mineral. Kitabu cha Maarifa, a book of knowledge by the author who is known as Lion A. Mangole. And his other name is Dixon Mangole. This book was written in 2013, so it's like more than 10 years ago. And it was published in Dar es Salaam. And it has very few chapters. It has 14 chapters. No, pages, I mean. It has 24 pages. And how many chapters? Oh, 6 chapters, right? So I'm going to like to kind of review in terms of like trying to summarize what has been written in every chapter and what I've learned and what I've loved about each and every chapter. And then I'll say generally for the entire book and give my opinions as a closing remark. So the first chapter is called, in English, Many People Focus on Ready-Made Stuff. So the author says that many people focus on things which have already been made, things which have already been built, and they do not focus on the process of getting there. So he is trying to say that that is a mentality of so many people. That's why many people do not trust the process. They want something which is ready made. But everything is being made from the beginning. Every value that you see, something that people have put hard work on it. So that's why it should not be something that you focus. Don't focus on things which are ready made if you want something permanent or something that can stay for a long time. Sorry. Then the second chapter is called Dhahabu ni nini, what is gold? So he went on to explain about what is gold. Gold as a mineral, but also gold as something which is very expensive, and how hard is it to get gold, even the cost of gold and everything. So this was written in 2013. So I believe this is has changed a little bit. I don't know if it's high or lower, but he went far on to say the value of gold in terms of grams. That 1 gram is equivalent to 80 thousand Tanzanian shillings. So if you have 1 kilogram, it's equivalent to 80 million Tanzanian shillings. That's a huge amount of money. I believe it's maybe it's more than that right now. Uh, and that is all about the second chapter. So the third chapter, it's about the author tries to express about process of finding gold, the excavation, like all the efforts, all the process, like everything from the process of finding where the sites are, digging down there, getting gold, cleaning it, and everything until when it is ready made to be sold. So he's saying about all the processes and all the efforts that people are taking, because most of the mineral sites are in remote areas. People have to stay there, maybe far away from services like normal services, water and food, shelter, So living in these very dangerous environments so that they can find where the gold is. And also, it's not an easy thing to find gold. It involves trial and error sometimes. So people spend a lot of time, but when they get it, bingo, they get money. But the process generally is not an easy process. So that's all about the third chapter. And then he went further to express in the fourth chapter, saying that everything can be turned into gold. And here he made a very good point, which I really like about the book. So he said, we know that like that gold is a very, very precious thing, very expensive thing, and everybody would want to have gold. But he said gold is not the only expensive thing. So anything else can be turned to gold in the sense that the value that you see in gold can be um, can be found in anything else. This is the point when he was making. So he said, like, okay, the book is about gold and everything, but I'm not talking about gold. I'm talking about anything around you that you can make it to be as precious or as valuable as gold. I love this point so much. And then he said he mentioned 10 characters of gold. And then later on he says that these characters can be reflected in anything, not only gold. So the first thing is about the value, that it's something of high value. Permanence. The second thing is it is permanent. It is everlasting, something that stays for a long time. It is shining. That is the third character. The fourth character is it is attractive. Like physically, it's very attractive. And then the character number 5 is it doesn't burn. Like if you burn gold, I believe you need a lot of energy to burn it, melt it, so to say. So he said it cannot be burned. It's gonna be destroyed. And then character number 6 is its color. It's hard to denature its color, something like that. Character number 7 is many people love it. Like almost everybody loves gold. And then character number 8 is the market. It's always marketable. Anytime, any day, people want gold. And then it has high value, the same, like almost similar to the first point. And then that is number 9, I guess. Yes. And then number 10 is you can sell it to any country, right? Well, that's the point he tries to make about gold. In chapter 4. And then he went on further to say there are 3 things which, if you get a good use of them, they can be as valuable as gold. And this is like learning. He said learning, mafundisho, is maarifa, knowledge, and wisdom. So learning, if you take advantage of learning experience, if you take advantage of knowledge, and if you take advantage of wisdom, you can actually turn so many things to become gold. So he says these things are much more precious than gold. If they're being used very well, you can get so much advantage from these things. That is chapter number 5. Number 4, then we go to um, before we go to chapter number 5, chapter number 4, I believe the closing statements of this chapter was it just tries to let you just say, kind of trying to say all over again about the 10 characters of gold, and then try to like match or reflect those characters in something else apart from gold. So if you want to turn something into gold, that means you have to turn something into having the characters of gold. So if there is something that you're working on, you have to have the mindset and the focus that one day that thing can turn into gold, into the characters of gold. So you have to create something around you which can be of high value, live long, live for a long time, like everlasting, shining in the sense of the quality. He says about quality and the excellence at some point, and also make it attractive, and also make it like indestructible. I would say something that cannot be easily destroyed, and make it always having a good quality in terms of color and appearance, and also being known to people and being lovable, being loved by every person, and also to have a market all the time, but also to have high value, as I said before, and also something which is sellable or marketable to different places. So that is chapter number 4. And then in chapter number 5, so he went further to the practical experience, practical examples of what he said earlier about gold. So here he says things which can be turned into gold, right? If you take advantage of these practical things, you can get a lot of profit, a lot of money, I would say, just like how you get from having gold. So he talked about kilimo, about agriculture. I mean, we know so many people who are making a lot of money through agriculture because they have taken a good advantage of agriculture. So they have wisdom, they have learned how to do it, and they have knowledge about how to run their agriculture processes. So he went further to say about agriculture in different terms, being it food, having food crops and also cash crops as well. He went further to the manufacturing, food processing industries. And then also he went further to talk about investing, but also buying land, buying clothes. And also he then went further to talk about your individuality as something that can be turned into gold. So, and then like he explained a little bit about that in the chapter number 5, and then chapter number 6, where it's like a concluding chapter. It says that on a personal level, akili na maarifa, like knowledge, your knowledge can be your mineral site, can be your gold. So you can make sure that you accumulate knowledge which is going to be sellable, knowledge which is going to be marketable, knowledge which can solve people's issues, can solve people's problems, and then from there you'll be able to sell it to other people. You can create solutions which are everlasting, and then you can from there you'll be able to be rich and to create something which is of high value as compared to gold. Right, and that's the last chapter. So the book is very short, as I said, but it's full of knowledge and wisdom. And then he concludes the book by advertising some other books he has written and also some other stuff. So I love this book. I love everything about the content and how simple it is and how short, because people are afraid of reading the big books. So it's small, very simple, direct to the point, and yeah, it's a very good book. So honestly, I love it and I like it, but I have a few issues. So yeah, I would say, I mean, I'm not going to be very critical, but in my opinions, I think the design was not really impressive, of course, because I was expecting, with the richness of knowledge in this book, the design was supposed to be maybe better than this. I remember when I was buying it in a bookshop, it was not something. I mean, I went there and I said, okay, I just want to take a book like any book. So when I saw it, I actually looked at the price and it was like affordable, so I took it. But I believe many people sometimes, even though we are told not to judge the book by the cover, but many people look at how the book looks like the design, and then they make decision after reading the title and everything. But also, I think the titles too is not very catchy, even though it can be catchy to other people. It's long somehow, and there is so much words in the first chapter. So I believe, and also it's not really readable. So I mean, that could be better. But also, structuring inside was also not really cool, because I've seen some places whereby another chapter starts like in the middle page, which is not something that I would expect you to see in a book. Like this is the third chapter. It started here for the end of the first chapter, which is also very short. So these kind of things, I still believe this is chapter number 4 started here. Okay, so I still believe much more could be done. And also, I've seen a place where they use some pictures which are you cannot really see them very well. I know it has to be with to be with something about the budget and stuff, but I believe if you want to do something which is really good and something which is serious like this one, I believe you could do better and make it more sellable. I think also there is the point where some definitions were taken, I guess, from the internet, but there is no reference. There's no reference, of course. I'm expecting that I could see the reference of where all these definitions were taken from. I was expecting that thing as well. Um, yes. That's all. That's all. Generally, it's a good book. I'll say that I got the point that I got from this book. That you have to pursue something with the intention of making it the best. You have to give the best in everything you're doing. You don't have to do something just like a normal thing, right? Business as usual. People say don't do anything as business as usual. Do something with the intention of making it permanent, making it something of high value, so that you know the efforts that you're going to do, and you have a focus and determination of doing something to a great quality. So that's something that I got from this book. This is the first book that I'm doing a review. I'm proud of myself that at least I've done a review of the first book. Now I'm looking forward to reading another one. I don't know which one amongst the book that I've shared with you, but yeah, I think the next one is going to be a little bit longer book, so maybe the video as well is going to be longer. But yeah, give me opinions, give me comments about this session. Tell me how it was, and then I'll see how I'm going to make it better next time. Thanks for watching until this time. Consider liking this video, sharing it to other people, subscribing, and see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.